So guys, help me welcome to the stage our fearless leader, my good friend, Dr. Eric Nepute.
Love you, man. That was amazing, dude. Crushed it. Yeah, man. All right. Well, it's so great to be here with everybody. We've been saying for a while, all roads lead to Las Vegas, and here we are today. So I'm so excited. I'm so humbled. I'm so honored to be here. I have to tell you, there's a bit of a, positive, amazing emotion in the environment. But many of you know me. I've got to know quite a few of you over the last couple months, and you understand the roller coaster ride that we've been through to get to this point. And Jeremy's 100% right. When you are breaking through limitations and when you're challenging status quos that have, been too big to fail, how many of y'all know that, the devil doesn't like whenever you start messing up things that he's been putting together for a long time. And I'm not trying to get preachy, but we have so much to do together. And I want to make this very clear about everything. This is about we, not about me. How many of you would agree that, if you go back and you look at history is all about different cycles. We see these ebbs and flows of empires and dynasties and technologies and things come and pass. Well, how many would agree that we're at the bottom of one of those valleys right now? And how many would you agree that we the people that are in this room right now and we the people that are watching online all over the world, we get to be the ones not only to watch this new age of enlightenment come up, but we get to lead the whole thing from the health and wealth standpoint. How big of an opportunity is that? So before I get into my talk this morning, we have a lot that we're gonna cover today. So I'm gonna tell you that you're gonna get a lot of information. Some of you are gonna get information that you've heard before. Some of you are gonna get information that you don't quite understand. It's a process, or for my Canadian friends that are here, it's a process. We will get through this together, okay? Jeremy's right. Today is the day that we're finally kicking the tires off this. We've been working on this for a long time. I will tell you, this project has been a project of love, hate, and everything you can think of in between for the last 20 years. And the last 4 years have been a really interesting battle to get to this point today. So let me tell you a little bit about the journey before I tell you why we're here. So many of you know me. My name is Dr. Eric Nepute. I'm a physician by trade. I always tell folks I'm the son of a pig farmer from Central Illinois because I'm just a humble guy that just tries to help folks every day. Well, I'm a serial entrepreneur as well. We have multiple biotech companies. I told you I've had over 30 of my own practices. I've owned and operated surgical centers. I've been in the laboratory and lab sciences space. I've been part owner of a hospital system. I've been in and around the healthcare system, not just from a physician, but also from an entrepreneur. So I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And folks, there's a lot more ugly than there is good. And that's not okay. And I know many of you have unfortunately succumbed and family members have had problems with this system to this day. Lack of trust, lack of transparency, lack of truth. We're going to fix that. I'll tell you that many of you know that my story really got pretty crazy at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, when this crazy pandemic happened across the globe. I'll tell you that at the beginning of this pandemic, myself and literally hundreds of doctors were meeting virtually online from all over the globe talking about what's happening in our countries. What are we seeing in our communities? How are we getting together globally and helping change the world? Like when the pandemic came, doctors who really wanted to help people got together and said, okay, it's our Super Bowl. How do we shine? Well, there was a really weird thing that happened. Whenever we presented solutions, doctors like myself, they didn't receive them very well. In fact, in my practices, we saw over 11,000 patients and all of them combined that were positive for COVID. Nobody died. Nobody went to the hospital. And instead of the government saying, hey, what did you do? How did you do that? They attacked us. They actually sued me for $508 billion. Let me say that again, $508 billion. And after a long 3.5-year battle, and spent over $5 million fighting the government, we won that battle. But thank you. But like Jeremy said, and he was at my house that day. Like there's no such thing as coincidences. We're all here for a reason today. You all have a story. You all have a reason. You have a purpose of why you're here. And Jeremy was at my house the day that literally the battle was over. And it was the most anticlimactic day in my life. I thought for sure when we won this thing, there was going to be like, ticker time parade. I was going to get my name in the lights, Super Bowl. Where are you going, Dr. Eric? I'm going to Disneyland. It was like, okay, innocent, moving on. I'm like, really? That was it? But Jeremy was at my house and he told me two things. And I just really want to make sure everybody understands this. And this is the heart of this guy. He came to me, the first thing to tell me was, don't forget that, man, there's a real amazing passage in the Bible, in the book of Isaiah. It says, he will give you the treasures of the darkness. But that means you have to go through the darkness to get it. But what I'll tell you is on the other side of that darkness, man, there's a bright light. And it's really amazing what's on the other side of that. And who you become during that process. And being able to shine the light over here instead of shining the light on problems, saying, here's the problem. Now we have the opportunity to go over here and shine the light and say, here's the solution. Here's where we need to go. And how many of you would agree that that's what we need in this world today? The second thing he told me, again, we talk a little religion between friends every once in a while, right? We're not going to talk religion or politics from stage too much today, I hope, but he also said to me, don't forget that Jesus was crucified in public and resurrected in private. And man, that was powerful. Because, yes, and I'll tell you why. Because I stand up here today literally representing hundreds of thousands of disenfranchised healthcare workers across the globe. Some of you that are in this room right now, some of you that are in this room that were called out by name by the United States federal government as someone on the disinformation dozen group. Because what you did was save people's lives. Because you did what was right and you stood when there was nothing else to do but stand. You stood because it was the right thing to do. And how many of you would agree with me that globally that is one of the most powerful things that we need now more than ever in this world is people who will stand for truth, trust, and transparency and for what's right. Thank you. And I want you to understand that that's what Biolimitless is truly about. So let's get into this conversation because today you're going to learn a lot. I'm going to give you some big, broad concepts. We're going to throw a lot of great information at you. We're going to show you what's possible. We're literally today just giving you the tip of the iceberg of this brand new ecosystem that we've created together that truly is going to change the world forever. And I know that the history books are going to be writing about what we together are doing because we get to see that new age of enlightenment in the health space, the wealth space, all decentralized, brought back into the hands of we the people. We're going to put health and care back into healthcare, and it's on a decentralized ecosystem that's never been done before, folks. This is an absolute game changer. So let's talk a little bit about why are we here. People ask me, Dr. Eric, why did you become a physician? Well, I fell in love with the human body when I was a little kid. I thought it was amazing, but the real reason why I became a doctor was because of my mother. My mom was sick all the time. And I vowed that I was going to learn and do as many things as I could to make sure that my mother lived as long as a happy, healthy life as she could, and so that other people's mothers could do the same. And I will tell you that's been a very interesting road because it got me in many, many conversations that you folks might consider troublesome. Whenever you ask one question, in my profession, in the health and wellness space and in the medical space, if you start asking the question, why, you are now a problem. If you start asking, why does somebody have that problem? Why do we do this? Folks, our system is broken. I don't think anybody in here would disagree with me at all. And by the way, when I had this conversation in Japan, when we had it in Europe, when we had it in the Middle East, everybody agrees the problem is true across the globe. It's time for a solution and a shift, but nobody's stepped up to do it yet. And again, the biggest reason why, when people ask me, Doc, why are you bringing part of your ecosystem to a peer-to-peer, direct-to-consumer network marketing component? It's real simple, folks. Because if you're going to have a system that's by the people, for the people, and of the people, it has to be driven by the people, and the people have to be able not just to participate, but to monetize from that system. It's the only way that it can happen. And when I tell people that, they say that's the most common sense thing you could possibly think of, because our systems are broken. We have a shady welfare system and we have a fractured healthcare system. Our welfare system, it's just like Jeremy said. We're seeing, I mean, look what just happened. I was talking to some of our friends in Japan. Look what just happened to the Japanese market. Look what's happening in the United States right now. Look what's happening in all of our worlds. I just had some patients tell me that they wanted to go and put some braces on their child. They went to their bank to get cash, $2,500 cash, to pay the orthodontist for braces, and the bank ran them through the third degree. It took them almost a whole day to get their money because the bank didn't want to give them the money that was theirs. This is not okay. And so our system is all about institutionalized dividing and conquer us as people. And I will tell you, you're going to hear a lot about how healthcare and wealthcare goes together today. You're going to hear a lot about that because the fractured healthcare system is really all about symptoms and not solutions. You folks have heard me say this before from the stage, that just in the United States alone, we spend $5 trillion a year on the healthcare system in America by itself. $5 trillion a year. Half of that money, 2.5 trillion of that money, literally goes to bureaucratic waste and spend and administrative fees. 2.5 trillion of those dollars goes towards paperwork instead of improving the quality of your health. Do you want to know why it cost you $200 for a Tylenol at the doctor's office? This is not okay. The healthcare system that we have today is not equitable. People don't have access to it. It's not affordable. But do you know what the real thing is? People lack of knowledge leads to their death. Would you agree with that? Without knowledge, people will perish. Doctor is Latin for teacher. How many of you know that the system right now is set up that if you have a disease that is a lifestyle disease, which is almost 90% of all diseases that are on doctors' diagnostic sheets today, we're talking heart disease, we're talking diabetes, we're talking all these things. These are lifestyle changes. You can't fix those with pills, potions, lotions, and etc. And oh, by the way, you're going to hear me say a lot about supplements, vitamins, and nutrients. You cannot out-supplement a crappy lifestyle. I'm just going to tell you, if you feel like crap, it might be because you eat like crap, you sleep like crap, you think like crap. And so we got to change that whole thing. And I promise you that if you will engage us in this process, that we will teach you, we will reach you, we will inspire you, and we will help you inspire other people to change their lives forever. Because the truth will set us all free, and the truth will make you happy. And I will tell you that a happy, healthy nation is a happy, wealthy nation. But I want you to understand as well that we're not here to challenge the status quo. We're not here to go after the established system that's here. We're not here saying that system's bad, we need a new one. We're pointing a finger saying it's not very good, it doesn't work. We're saying here's a parallel system. Here's a parallel system that you can participate in. The system that you can participate in is vast. And I'm going to show you a picture of the ecosystem that Biolimitless has, just a sneak peek of it, so you can kind of get an idea what's going to happen in the future. But I want you to understand the system that is created today, just in the United States of America, that one that is a $5 trillion a year business, $250 billion of that goes back into the hands of your insurance companies, into HMOs, PPOs, into other healthcare organizations. That is an absolute waste. And let me just tell you, folks, I don't want to fight against those folks. We don't need to fight against those folks. We have a system that allows people to participate because they have something called free will and freedom. And if you have freedom and free will to choose, people are going to choose our system over the others. Now, let me share this with you. Those of you that are in the United States understand this, and I really want to hammer this and hit this home. This is right out of the United States government's insurance. Did you know that? Medicare is our socialized medicine in the United States. So those of you that are in other countries can relate to this. This is our socialized system of healthcare. The Medicare guideline, listen to this, because some of you are asking me, well, is Biolimitless covered by insurance? Is the genetic testing covered by your insurance? Is this covered by that? This system, the system that's created, that all the other insurance companies have to follow says this: a treatment plan that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance the quality of your life. Hold on, back up. How many of you would like to prevent disease? How many of you think that would be a good thing? Okay. How many of you think it'd be good to promote health? Okay. How many of you would like to learn like prolonging and enhancing the quality of your life and the quantity? That's longevity and anti-aging. Well, the United States government and their insurance says that if you want to do any of those things, or a therapy that's performed to maintain or prevent deterioration, which is aging, of conditions, is deemed what? Not medically necessary, which means it's what? Not covered. So I need you to understand that the system that's out here right now is not there to help you on the level that you think it is. So if you have the ability to take care of yourself, and you're going to hear this again and again and again, one of the premises of Biolimitless is self-care is the real healthcare. And why are we all over that? There's a lot of reasons, because it's true, and we can own that conversation. You know, the health and wellness world, the healthcare world, that's already owned. That's a multi-trillion-dollar a year industry. The wellness world, remember when the wellness revolution started? I mean, I remember that 20 years ago. Everything's about wellness. Well, everybody has wellness now. Walgreens has wellness. They're giving you preventative medications. That makes absolutely no sense. That makes no sense. But you know what it makes? A lot of dollars. And listen, I have no problem living in a society where we all can benefit, where we all can prosper. Folks, but it's not working. It's broken. Think about this. If you take the top 100 industrialized countries on the planet, the top 100, and you pull the United States out of that, you add all 99 of the number of how much money these countries spend on their healthcare system, if you combine all these together, the United States still spends more than all of these combined. Did you know that? So if we're spending more than all those combined, we should be number one in everything. Well, we're in the bottom third when it comes to longevity, when it comes to quality of life, when it comes to how we manage chronic disease, when it comes to infant mortality. That's not okay. We're not getting what we're paying for. So what does that mean? If a system is supposedly too big to fail, what do? We create a new one. And that's what we've done here with Biolimitless. So check this out. This is just a sneak peek of the ecosystem. I mean, this is just a sneak peek of the ecosystem of Biolimitless. So if you look, we've got Biolimitless right here in the middle. And then we're here today talking about Biolimitless Direct. That's our direct-to-consumer aspect. There's a blockchain component and a smart contract connected with that. We have a crowdfunding license opportunity. Could you imagine having Biolimitless Centers of Excellence, 2,000 facilities all across the globe, a place where people can go to get real health care? Folks, I'm going to tell you, there are doctors in this room right now who are just like me, functional medicine practitioners who help people get to the root cause of their problems, who, by the way, when you come see doctors like us, it could very well be an expensive opportunity to get healthy. But you get really healthy. We've been able to systemize that and make it affordable so that everybody can do it. And folks, that's one of the main things that we have as a problem. When I've had so many folks from Japan and Europe and all over the world come and see me at my practices in St. Louis, Missouri. What's our biggest frustration? Where do we send them to for the care that them and their family and their community needs once they leave? Folks, this is a revolutionary project that we have together, and I promise you, we're going to be getting written up in the history books about this. Biolimitless also has a retail component. We have our brick and mortar Biolimitless Centers of Excellence, which you're going to hear a lot about this afternoon. This morning, we're going to be talking a lot about the healthcare component. This afternoon, we're going to be talking a lot about the wealth care component, and we're going to talk about how it all comes together, okay? And then we've got our Biolimitless professionals. So it's a project we have for influencers. Or if you're a doctor, if you already have a brick and mortar facility, or if you're a telehealth practitioner and you want to be able to utilize our products and services through the telehealth systems, you can do those. Folks, I'm telling you right now, the buzz is so hot. We tried so hard. You have no idea how hard I tried to keep so many of the things that we're doing secret, like double top secret, like our formulas, like the book that I wrote, like all the other things that somehow you guys found out about all that kind of stuff because you're pretty excited about it. But folks, what we have here and what we're showing you truly is the tip of the iceberg. And today, we're going to talk a lot about the science and what we're launching, the genetic profile test, why we're doing that, the 2 foundational formulas, why we're doing that. But you have to understand, this is just phase 1. Phase 2, when we launch in Dubai, the global launch of this, we're going to have another dozen formulas that are all peptide-driven formulas. Everything from weight loss to muscle building to anti-aging to, we already talked about the cosmetics creams and the things that we're bringing to the market. You know, we already talked about the FDA-approved exosome oral therapies that we're going to be bringing to the market. You know, the brick-and-mortar facilities, all these things that we're building. If you'll stay with us through this process, and it's going to be a wild, exciting ride, but it's going to be a little bumpy ride as well. How many of y'all understand when you do something new, there's going to be some bumps and bruises along the way? But how many of you would agree that if you're willing to go into the darkness, the treasures on the other side of that are pretty freaking amazing? Yeah. So the ecosystem for today that we're going to be sharing is vast. It's deep. There's a lot of information. Some of you are going to leave here excited. Most of you are going to leave here excited. Some of you might even leave here a little bit confused about what do I do next. Well, I want you to understand that I know that doctor is Latin for teacher. So our job is to teach, reach, inspire, and motivate as many people as we possibly can along this journey. We're going to give all of you the tools that you need to be successful. You know, I always tell my patients, we'll give you the map, the keys in the car, you still got to drive it. Well, we're going to do that for all of our global people, our patients, all of our builders. Everybody's going to have that opportunity. We're in this together. This is not about me. This is about we. And I'm telling you, we can be the change that we want to see. All the change that when we're watching television, when we're with our friends and we're hearing all this stuff going on in the world and we're saying, man, that needs to be different. Man, that should be changed. It's time for us to stop saying something. And it's time for us to start doing something. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what Biolimitless is all about. So how many of you excited about that? Are we on the same page? All right, awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So what I'm going to do now, you're going to hear from me a lot today. But I want to bring someone up to the stage in just a moment, someone who's really been a mentor of mine. And I will tell you, you're going to hear me say a lot that this is not about me, this is about we. But there's a lot of my history that's come into fruition in this event. When we were in Arizona and we spoke, we had a really amazing event. Not some of you were there. And when I came off the stage, there were several doctors that I was speaking with, a lot of naturopaths and a lot of, natural practicing doctors that were so excited and were just grilling me about the science. And when I showed them, they're like, oh man, this is freaking amazing. We can't wait. But then there was another physician who's probably here in this room today, who's a mentor of mine, who I studied with him and his technologies and his systems 15 years ago. And I came off the stage and I saw him and I hadn't seen him in who knows how long. I shook his hand and I said, I had no idea you were going to be here. And he said, I had no idea you were going to be here. I said, well, I'm speaking. And I said, well, what do you think? He goes, I think it's amazing because you basically just told the last 40 years of my life's work up there on the slides. And we had a really great conversation. And then you know what he said to me? He's in his 70s now, still taking care of patients. And he says, all I ever wanted to know was that the work I did could ultimately help bring wellness to the world. And so we stand on the shoulders of giants. We have so many science, so many doctors, so many leaders, so many people that are ready to stand shoulder to shoulder together, just like that amazing doctor, just like the amazing doctors that are here today to speak to you. And together we can grow an army of hundreds of millions of people to change the way that healthcare is delivered and received, and to take our lives back and to get back in control of who we are, because self-care is the real healthcare.